Okay, we're going to start. אנחנו נתחיל. Father will start the ceremony, ואז נעשה סבב, we'll go around the people here, that every person can introduce which family they're from in Tarnogrod. Let's start.
Outside. I'm Sheldon Shorer, son of Joseph Shorer, who lived in Tarnogrod. We have a large family there. I'm here with my wife, Andy, with two of my children, Ethan, who's the host.
מיכל, לכולם זה מתאים באנגלית?
Ethan is here with his wife, Maya, and with my daughter, Jordana, is here with three of her children, all three, and her husband over there.
On the other side.
This is
בעברית, באנגלית זה לא משנה.
Yossi Puter,
יוסי פוטר, משפחת פוטר.
father from Puter family, mother Toffler.
אפשר גם בעברית, אני לא בטוח שכולם פה מדברים רק אנגלית, אז זה...
רבקה עומי ממשפחת מאלר, מטרנגרוד. הלו.
להציג את עצמי, אני הבת של...
שם שלך.
אני דגני יפה, הבת של יצחק גשפנץ, יצחוק גשפנץ.
יצחק גשפנץ.
מטרנגרוד שהיה נשוי לאחות של יוסל שטורר. קראו לה גם כן סור, נכון? כן, והיו להם שני ילדים.
אהרון אברהם.
משה אהרון, יליד 33, ואברהם יליד 35. ואני עכשיו שלחתי את התמונה שלהם לקבוצה בפייסבוק, וכתבתי להם שיר אפילו. אם מישהו נכנס לקבוצה שמה, לקבוצת היידיש, יכול לקרוא את זה שם.
תודה רבה. תודה יפה. ויערה?
יערה, אני הבת של יפה גני. הנכדה של יצחק אושפן ששפן.
all right.
You will listen to the ceremony, Rita.
I'll talk in English this time.
הנה, נאווה put up a picture. נאווה את התמונה שלהם. את התמונה שלהם.
נכון, הנאווה שלך?
כן, לא, היא העלתה את זה עכשיו
ועליהם אני כתבתי, אם תחפשו את זה בפייסבוק.
Does anybody from the participants on the Zoom want to introduce themselves and which family they're from? מישהו מהזום רוצה להציג את עצמו?
The Rosengarten family is here.
Rosengarten family. Where are you from?
Isaac Rosengarten was in Tarnogrod and was killed by the Germans. We live in Miami now.
In Miami.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm active in the Tarnogrod translation.
Okay, so thank you very much for the translation. Very useful for us non-Yiddish readers. Thanks.
I hope we're doing it justice.
Well, we don't know, but it reads very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to introduce themselves?
Omik and I are both children of people born in Tarnogrod. My father and his mother were one of 8 children. Their parents lived in Tarnogrod for a long time, and they, as Omik mentioned, they left in the 30s and ended up in Warsaw, where a lot of them were taken away. But
and Berlin, Warsaw and Berlin.
No, Berlin first and then Warsaw, because they left Berlin. And some escaped, some were taken to Russia, some uncles were taken to Russia, some hid out in France, and some managed to escape to England or America. But vast numbers were never seen again.
But
Thank you,
our side of the family, my mother, her husband, my uncle Martin, who's a lemur as well, his children, we all ended up firstly in Lvov, Lemberg, and then they ended up in Siberia. And when the Polish government in exile under General Sokowski here in England had come to an agreement with the Russians that they should not be treated as political prisoners, as probably most of you know, they were released and they went to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. And I was actually born in Uzbekistan. Luckily, they never gave up their Polish nationalities, which many did, as a result of which, after 1945, they were allowed to leave the USSR and go back to Poland, where they didn't want to stay. The anti-Semitism was very, very, very rife. At the age of 4 or so, I think the story is worth telling. I was taken into a shop in Poland, and my uncle wanted to buy me a birthday present. And I pointed to a little toy gun. And when the shopkeeper asked me, "Why do you want a toy gun?" I said, "I want to kill all the Jews." That's what I heard people on the street saying in 1945 and 46. And my parents realized we couldn't stay in Poland. And we escaped across the border. And for nearly 2 years, we were living in DPCs, displaced person camps, until another uncle of ours in Paris, also from Tarnogrod, arrived in Austria with false papers, false visas. In those days in Paris, you could buy anything on the black market. And with those false visas, the 15 of us arrived in Paris. That's how it goes.
Thank you, Benny. Anybody else? Okay, so we're going to move on with the ceremony here.
All right. What I'll do now is I'll make a short talk. Then we're going to say some Tehillim. That I have some sheets prepared, and hope you'll say El Mole Racham. The important thing is to be here and to give testimony and to say, just to be here and to acknowledge and to state what happened. If you look around, it showed you the street. This street, which is all of the street, which is all of towns. Each one of these things was a project of the Landsmannschaften, and the Landsmannschaften did their book on the town, and also these projects in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. I've been coming here since the early 70s, and when I was here, this place was completely crowded with Tarnogroders and with people from each one of the towns. You couldn't move; it was packed. It was only what the 70s was, like 25 years after the war. And there were a lot of people here, maybe 70, 80 people, I think, came every year. And of course, the number dwindled until now. Nobody who's left Tarnogrod, who lived in Tarnogrod, comes here anymore. They're all gone. It's too long. In fact, we're here to give witness. How can we give witness? Who are we? I don't know. I think I'm the oldest person here in this collection. And I don't didn't know anybody in Tarnogrod who passed away. I know my father lived in Tarnogrod, but he's gone. But I don't know anyone who was killed in Tarnogrod. So how are we? What are we doing? What is all this for? What right do we have to give testimony? We didn't see anything. We just finished the Pesach holiday, and there are many things about the Pesach holiday which remind us of what's going on today in the Shoah, such as the statement, "Kol dor v'dor omdim aleinu v'chalotenu." Every generation they try to kill us, and we still stay. There's another interesting thing, I think, from the Haggadah, which I think is also relevant to what's happening today. In the Haggadah, first of all, it's called the Haggadah. Why is it called the Haggadah? The word is it's talk, and there's a pasuk and in the Torah, but you got to tell them. All right, fine. But why isn't it? It's the story of Tzipor Yetziat Mitzrayim. It says many times, "L'saper Yetziat Mitzrayim," to tell the story. So why isn't it called Sefer Tzipor Yetziat Mitzrayim? Why the word Haggadah? What does that have to do? Why is that word so important? One thing, the Haggadah, there's another thing that also concerns. It says in the Haggadah that Kol Hamarbe Aleze Meshubach. The more you talk about it, it's keep talking, just keep it going. Talk, the more you can talk about it. That's what you're supposed to do with it. Then they tell the story of the rabbis who spent all night until their students came in the morning, said, come on, it's time for morning prayers. Keep talking. How can you talk? The whole story of Yetziat Mitzrayim, of leaving Egypt, takes place in the Torah. That's our only source. It's in a few chapters there. How long does it take to read that? Maybe a half an hour? So what are you talking about? You're making up stuff? You're going to create history that didn't happen? You can finish the whole thing in a half an hour. Why do they want us to keep talking? I'll give you 4 more questions, very quick ones. You know the questions, the 4 sons. All ask the 4 questions. And the answer to all 4 questions and the 2 questions I pose now is the same. There's a verse in the Torah that everyone is familiar with. By Higadata Lebincha, just a second. And you should explain to your child on that day when they ask you, for this. What this is of course the whole story you see of the tribe. For this, this is what God did to me when I left Egypt. I left Egypt? How did I leave Egypt? What happened in Egypt happened, 3,500 years ago. I was born in the mid-20th century. I left Egypt? This is what God did to me? The whole story of the Seder is exactly that, to feel as if you yourself are leaving Mitzrayim. You yourself are leaving Egypt. If you're not leaving Egypt, if you don't feel the experience of leaving Egypt today, then you're still stuck there. There's a saying there that if we hadn't left Egypt, if we hadn't left Mitzrayim, we'd still be slaves to the Paro. How can we be slaves to Paro? Certainly the Romans or the Greeks or the Persians will attack and free us. No. If we don't feel today that we are experiencing the freedom of leaving Egypt, we're still slaves. We're spiritually still enslaved and don't feel the importance of being part of a people who have left Egypt. This is what the answer is to the 4 sons. And all 4 sons, whether it's the wise one, the evil one, the simpleton, or the one who's clueless, the same answer is to all of them. You should know that it's for this that we left Egypt. It is for this that we are a people, and this is what we have to do for ourselves. And that, of course, is the relationship with this event here today. Because when the Germans, the Nazis, Hitler, tried to kill my parents, they ran away. When they tried to kill my parents and succeeded in killing their parents and brothers and sisters and relatives and cousins, the goal was not only to kill them, it was to kill me. It was to kill my children. It was to kill my grandchildren. That was the goal. I was there when I left Egypt. I was there when we left Tarnogrod, when we left the Crusades, when we left the Spanish Inquisition. We are all part. It's happened, and it's not something that happened 3,500 years ago. It's something that's happening today. It's the feeling that we have today. And why do I do? Why do we talk about it all? The more you talk about it, because how important is this event to you today? We're relating what the freedom is to us today. So a lot to talk about. It's not just some history. It's what's happened today. And the obligation is, he got to tell Bincha. I have to tell my son, you, Ethan, you, Jordana, you, Nadia, I have to tell you that you are part of this thing. and it is your job to pass that on to the next generation. So we're here as witnesses. We're here to recall, and we're here to make an affirmation of faith that we're all part of one people, and it is a good people, and it is a people that's born with a purpose. And the purpose in the Bible was to pass through the desert, to enter the promised land, to receive ethics from God at Sinai, and to be a good nation, and to be Mamlechet Kohanim, to be a good nation that strives to do good. And when my father grew up in Tarnogrod, at the end of 2,000 years of exile, it's hard to believe that it would never end. And I was privileged to be born after the creation of the state of Israel. And to see the miracles that happen daily here in the state of Israel, a nation that is good, a nation that strives to do good, makes me very proud, very lucky, very, very special.
We sing a couple of Pirkei Tehillim, followed by Almin.
Which Tehillim?
Which Tehillim? Wait just a minute. Somebody can turn the page for me because I only have. Can you turn the page? Turn the page.
On the page, Bet and Pei Gimel.
Tehillim Bet, Tehillim number 2,
And Pei Gimel.
and Pei Gimel 83. Tehillim Bet.
למה רגשו גויים ולאומים הגורי, כי תשים אלפי ארץ ורוזנים וסבו יחד, על אדוני ועל משיחו, ננתקה את מסורתנו ונשליכה ממנו אבותינו. יושב בשמיים משחק, אדוני ילעג למו. אז ידבר עלינו באפו, ובחרונו יבהלנו, ואני נסחתי מלכי על ציון הר קודשי. הספרה אל חוק אדוני אמר אלי, בני אתה, אני היום ילידתיך. שאל ממני ואתנה גויים נחלתך ואחוזתך אפסי הארץ. תרואם בשבט ברזל ככלי יוצר תנפצם. ועתה מלכים השכילו היבשרו שופטי ארץ, עבדו את אדוני ביראה וגילו ברעדה, משכו כבר פן יענק ותאבדו דרך, כי יבער כמעט אפו אשרי כל חוסי בו.
שיר בזמון נעשה, אלוהים על דומי לך, אל תחרש ואל תשקוט אל, הנה אויביך יהמיון, ושונאיך נשאו ראש, על עמך יערימו סוד, יתייעצו על צפוניך, אמרו לכו ונכחידם מגוי, ולא יזכר שם ישראל עוד, כי נועצו לב יחדיו עליך ברית תקרותי, אוהלי אדום וישמעאלי מואב והגרים, גבול עמון ועמלק, לשת עם יושבי צור, גם אשור נלווה עמם, היו זרוע לבני לוט סלע, עשה להם כמדיין, כסיסרא, כיבין ונחל קישון, נשמדו בעין בן דור, היו דומן לאדמה, שיתמו נדיבנו כעורב, וכזאב וכזבח וכצלמונה, כל נסיכומו, אשר אמרו נרעשה לנו את נאות אלוהים, אלוהי שיתמו כגלגל כקש לפני הרוח, כאש תבער יער וכלהבה תלהט הרים, כן תרדפם בשעריך ובסופתך תבעלה, מלא פניהם קלון ויגשו שמך אדוני, יבושו ויבעלו עדי עד ויחפרו ביובל, וידעו כי אתה שמך השם לבדך עליון על כל הארץ.
מלא רחמים.
רחמים שוכן בדרומים, הרצה מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים כצוקייה מזהירים, ונשמות 6 מיליוני היהודים, וביניהם קדושי טארנוגרוד והסביבה, חללי השואה באירופה, שנהרגו, שנשחטו, שנשרפו, ושנקברו חיים על קידוש השם בידי המרצחים הגרמנים ועוזריהם משאר העמים. עבור שכל הקהל תתפלל לעילוי נשמותיהם, לכן הבעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור החיים את נשמותיהם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, מגן עדן תאמנותם. יעמדו לגורלם לקץ הימין, ונאמר אמן.
Amen. We don't have a minyan for Kaddish, but we're gonna sing a tikva and then Ani Mami. Which one? A tikva. A tikva? First Ani Mami? Okay, first Ani Mami, and then we're gonna sing a tikva. Ani Mami, Ani Mami, Ani Mami. ואמונה שנאמר בביאת המשיח אני מאמין ואף פי שיתמהמה עם כל זה אני מאמין. התקווה. כל עוד בלב אלינה נפש יהודי הומייה ורפאתי מצרף קדימה לציון סופיה עוד לא תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות חופשי בארצנו
ארץ ירושלים
להיות חופשי בארצנו
ציון מירושלים. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
thanks,
you.
Sheldon. On behalf of my cousin Benny and myself, thanks for organizing it. It was very moving, very emotional, and I was glad to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing on Zoom. That was really helpful.
Thank you, the Lemmers, Rosen Gardens, and for joining. Bye.
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 How do they know to go on? Where are they from?